While I was working in environmental education, kind of discovered organic farming and the movement toward locally grown and sustainably raised food, and realized that there was a very big disconnect between environmentalists and farmers. And I realized that that was a gap that needed to be a connection made, because farmers really are the people who produce our food and are responsible for taking care of the environment. And there was an awful lot of finger pointing. Environmentalists pointing fingers at farmers as the ones creating problems with habitat loss and pollution, and at the same time discovered some farmers that were doing things in alternative ways, farming in harmony with the environment. And this was about 20 years ago. I went back to school at the University of Minnesota for an agriculture education degree. Got my teaching license and master's in education. And a few years later, this opportunity to bring together education and production farming came along, and it's been a good fit. So I've been here as the supervisor at Gale Farm here. We see about 20 to 25,000 people a year who come for programs, and really the whole focus of our programs is connecting people to their food and understanding. In addition, everything that we raise here, beef, lamb, pork, chicken, vegetables, honey, maple syrup, it's all sold right here at the farm to people who come to the farm, see how it's produced, and then purchase it for their own consumption. So our whole goal is to connect people to their food. So the farm is very much financially supported and managed by Three Rivers Park District, and wouldn't be here without their support. We have organizations that are really supportive of the local farming movement and have been around for a long time. The Land Stewardship Project is one of them. They support farmers with education, with policy work, with connecting consumers to local agriculture. And then another similar organization is the Sustainable Farming Association, which is really an organization of farmers to assist small farmers that market locally. But often the message is sort of diluted, and it becomes, come out and pet the cute baby animals. And that message is really easy to get to people. But the message of why it's important to buy food locally, what sustainable agriculture means, it's a pretty complex idea. And I think people are really open to hearing it and understanding about it, but I think they often want sound bites and they want simple information, and it's really not simple. There are times when organic food is the right choice, and there are times when local food is the right choice. There are times when people wonder what truly is sustainable. And it's a complex issue that everybody's still figuring out. And I think getting that message out to people without diluting it is really challenging. The government's very involved in farming right now, subsidizing all kinds of different farming. Typically it's the large-scale corn and soybeans. And if government can turn those subsidies around to have them be supporting more of the farming that's focused on sustainability, that would be a huge change. Because right now their price structures and support structures for farming tend to favor the really big agribusiness. Because if we can figure out how to scale local food up so it can compete, then I think it will happen. But I think we also need to, as consumers, be willing to value how food is produced and where food is produced over how much it costs. There definitely needs to be more networks of farms coming together to figure out how can we meet the marketing challenges. But there also needs to be more farmers, and I think that's a big challenge right now, is that young people who are getting into farming, it's hard to learn how to farm, and you need to experience it, and there are not many kids growing up on farms learning how to do that. There's a demand issue. Just seeing the number of farmers that have gotten into farming to market their products locally in recent years, it's a result of the demand. So it definitely needs to come from both ends. It takes both farmers and consumers and policy all kind of coming together to change where we're at. And what we've seen in the last 20 years and the awareness that people have is amazing. And if we continue on this track, I think we will see an entirely different food system in another 20 years.